You know what? I make things way too complicated most of the time. And it's something my wife laughs at me about. It it almost seems like if it's too simple, it's not teachable or it's not valuable. And I don't know why, this brain of mine, this mind of mine makes things so hard and makes simple things so hard. And maybe this is true for you too. And in fact, I mean, I'm not the only one. I know I work with a lot of folks that think that simple is not valuable and hard is worthwhile. It just, I don't know, complex. And maybe it's just the human dilemma. And I know it's easy to undervalue something that's simple, but today we're going to get really simple. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I come up with a podcast episode, when I come up with episodes, when I come up with content, I, I want to provide as much value as I can to my audience, to listeners, to people that follow me, to people that I teach, and I just want to add value in people's lives. And it seems like I always want to, take the next step with them, and I just want to keep like this increasing ladder. But sometimes I lose sight of the fact that the easiest, simplest things are the most valuable things to teach. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get back to the basics. There are, and I want to tell you a story. So, and you've heard this story before. If you listen to this podcast, you've heard this story before. So this is nothing new. But even the most basic stories need to be told over and over so that we remember them. But to prove a point and to keep anchoring, points. But if you go back to March of 2016, I was 300 pounds. I was suicidal. I just lost my second was terminated from my second executive level position in about, right around 20 months. The first one was August of 2014. Then I went back to work January 2015, and March of 2016, I got terminated again. And the reason I was terminated is because I was upside down. I mean, I was so out of balance. I was so out of my alignment with my purpose, my destiny, my talents, my desires. I had gotten so far out of alignment that I completely lost touch with myself. And I lost myself in the process of creating wealth and success. And we created a really nice lifestyle, and we had some financial wherewithal, and I had nice titles, and it was a professional identity that I guess I could look at it and say, hey, I was the executive at a business or at businesses, and that was the source of my self-esteem. And I didn't, I just put my identity and I put my value and my worth in a lot of things outside of me: my money, my titles, my profession, the authority I had and influence I had in the workplace. My home life was absolutely toxic. It was abysmal. My wife and I were physically, mentally, emotionally abusive to each other, and my kids grew up in a toxic environment. Man, it was awful. It was awful. And I knew I wasn't that life wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't right. I knew there was something really, really defective about the life that I was living. That was out of balance, out of whack, out of order. I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be, and I just, man, on my own, I just wouldn't make that leap. I wouldn't make that leap, and there's 3 reasons why. And that's what we're going to talk about today. There was 3 specific reasons why I wouldn't make that leap into the destiny and to live the life that I wanted to live. And I can honestly say that, I've got professional and career, business goals and objectives, just like anybody else that runs a business. But I get to live the life that I have always dreamed of. And I can honestly say that I've got time freedom, and time freedom is the most valuable expression of freedom in a human being's life. Because if you don't own your own time, you're living somebody else's life. You've just turned your life over to someone else. So To me, time freedom is the greatest expression of freedom that a human being could possibly attain. And there is not one meeting on my calendar at all that is obligatory. And there's not one thing that I have to do on a daily basis or on a weekly basis that I have to do. Nothing's required. Nothing's out of obligation. And nothing that I have to do is because somebody else deems it necessary. It's because I'm choosing it, and I own my calendar. I own my time. I can rearrange my time, and I can completely wipe my calendar free. I don't have to take a vacation week. I don't have to take time off. I can completely just rearrange and choose time and go where I want and do what I want. And it's really cool. Time freedom is the ultimate expression of freedom. This is what I've always wanted. But there were three things that kept me from thinking or believing or choosing this before March 2016. And look, right after I was ejected from corporate America, I went on a job search, and I was the runner up 4 or 5 times for again executive level positions. And thank God, man, thank God, thank life, thank the universe, whatever you want to call that amazing creator. Thank you for not answering that prayer, because I would just be employed again, because there was just, again, it goes back to one of these three things, one of the three reasons. So now that I get to be on this side of the transformation and transition of life, and knowing that I'm the chooser of my thoughts and my emotions and my words and my actions, and everything is a consequence of what I think and what I feel and what I say and what I do. And I know that I'm the creator of my own reality. I know that. And when I compare now to where I was back in 2016, there were three things that kept me in a state of chaos. Those three things, you ready? Drum roll. That's my drum roll. Maybe you can hear it. Drum roll, please. Worry, doubt, and fear. When I look at the mass of humanity, and I look at social media, and Mondays suck and Fridays are awesome, vacations are great, work sucks, right? When I look at the mass of society, and I look at just the way human beings function, and being on this side, looking back, I was mired in this shit. I was mired in this same paradigm, this same way of living, the same internal and external consequences, the prison that I felt obligated to do things that I didn't want to do. And I felt obligated to go places I didn't want to go. And I felt obligated to do things, work for people I didn't want to work for. But, if you look at most of society, the pain that people are mired in, and the suffering that people endure, and the mediocrity that people allow into their lives, are all because of worry, doubt, and fear. I want to break each of these down. And I'm going to start giving you maybe some help. If you are trapped in worry, doubt, and fear, then maybe this episode will help you break free and break through it, I guess. So let's talk about worry. All worry is praying for what you don't want. It's your unconscious mind, your survival-based unconscious mind way of trying to keep you safe, and it creates so much chaos that it's hard to see through the jungle and the fog of worry. Again, worry is just praying for what you don't want. Your thoughts are creative. And at any time in your life, you're either creating what you want or creating what you don't want through your thoughts. So when you're worrying, you are literally bringing more chaos into your life. And I remember hearing that years and years ago and thinking, but I can't help it. I can't help the worry. I can't stop the worry. And I used to think that that was true, that we can't stop the worry and we can't stop the thoughts and we can't slow the thoughts. No, but you can tame the thoughts. So I talk about meditation all the time. And I in October of 2022, I went to a full week meditation retreat, and it was game changing and life changing. And listen, I meditate daily, sometimes a couple times a day, and my practice has been ongoing for the last 7 years. And listen, meditation will change your life. Meditation will change your life, and it doesn't have to be 20 minutes, and it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be a certain period of time. It doesn't have to be anything, and it doesn't have to look a certain way or in a certain position. It doesn't. All it requires is close your goddamn eyes, start breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just pay attention to your breath. I've heard so many people say, I can't meditate. Yes, you can. You're choosing not to. Meditation at first is uncomfortable because you're facing your thoughts. Close your eyes and breathe and pay attention to your breath for longer periods of time, longer durations during your practice. And as you practice, your worry will begin to quiet. It will begin to slow in frequency. The magnitude of the worry will go down. I promise you, I commit to you. Saying I can't meditate because I have too many thoughts and too much going on is it's like when I was 300 pounds, if I were to say I'm too heavy to exercise or I'm too heavy to diet, that's the exact reason, the exact point. We worry about what we don't want. We worry about consequences that we don't want. And that just invites them into our life because we're thinking about them and we're prolonging the opportunity for it to exist and for it to be created. Whatever it is, whatever you're worried about, you're attracting into your life. And we want to make a move, maybe from a corporate job into entrepreneurship. But instead, we just sit there and worry ourselves to death. And we overanalyze and we try to think of every consequence and try to prevent every consequence and every possibility of failure. And we just get into analysis paralysis, and we just think about what we don't want and all the pitfalls and all the speed bumps and all the blood and all the sweat and all the turmoil and the toil. And we think and we worry and worry and worry, and we don't make a move. And then we live a mediocre life that we hate, and then we die. Worry is simply praying for what you don't want. But it seems to be the human condition for 95% of the people walking the face of this earth. Are you one of them? If you are, start a meditation practice. Start small and increase it from there. The second, doubt. Doubt. The biggest doubt. I can't. I'm not good enough. But what if I'm not successful? It's not available to me. These doubts are shame. They're the expression of shame. Doubt is the expression of shame. It means that you feel that there's something so flawed about you that you won't be successful. Doubt is a sign. Doubt is the voice of inadequacy and insignificance. When you hold high levels of doubt in yourself and your abilities, and you think that you see 8 billion people walking on the face of the planet. Some people live in the life of their dreams, and some people most people mired in apathy and freaking mediocrity in terms of the life that they're living compared to the life that they want. And maybe you doubt that what they have that you want, you can't have. And I know when I was in corporate, when I was in that job that I didn't want, and I wasn't courageous enough to step out and start a life and start living a life that I wanted, I had to be like unceremoniously ejected twice in order to be, air quotes, to become courageous enough. I wasn't courageous. I was forced. Thank God I was forced. But anyway, doubt is the voice of shame. And it's a liar. You are prepared. You have enough. You are good enough. You are competent. You are significant. You're equal. You're equal to the most valuable person on this planet, the most significant person on this planet. Doubt is a liar. And all it is the expression of shame that's inside of you. It's screaming. Doubt inside of you about yourself is screaming that you are so flawed that you can't fully live and express yourself in this human form. And it's a liar. Shame. Shame means I'm a bad person. I'm a broken person. I'm a flawed person. I'm a defective person. And all that is the sign of shame. That there's something wrong with you. And there's not. There's nothing wrong with you. But these patterns, these worries, and these doubts are subconscious. They're buried in our unconscious mind, and we've got to get them dislodged if we truly want to live a meaningful, fulfilling life. You've got to start analyzing and thinking about what you think about in order to start to loosen the grips of worry and doubt. And listen, lastly, and this is the one that really has people in a stranglehold. I mean, they all have people in a stranglehold. Humanity in its grips, and this is why we hate what we do, and we do what we hate, and just holy cow, what an insane bunch of creatures we are, who have a certain number of days on the face of the earth and spend most of those days doing things that we hate. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Think about that for a second. I don't know how many days there are. 360. I don't know how many days. 365 days in a year. The average lifespan's about 80 years, right? So do the math. 365 times 80, and then look at the results of that and say most of those hours, most of those days are spent doing things that we don't want to do. Fear is it's the chokehold that keeps people from truly living. Fear is it's the voice of anticipated pain. That's all fear is. Fear is the anticipation of pain in the future. It's not even real now. Fear is the anticipation. It's the primal, primitive, recorded, unconscious, programmed voice, and the anticipation of a painful event that has probably a 0.01% chance, 0.001% chance of actually happening. Listen, your mind, your brain has one intention, it has one function really when it comes down to it. Like there's three major portions of your brain. There's the cerebellum, there's the neocortex, and there's the limbic system where the amygdala lives. And most of your brain, it has one intention. And that's to keep you alive. It's survival based. Survival based. Doesn't care if you're wealthy. It doesn't care if you're happy. It doesn't care if you're successful. It doesn't care if you're in a relationship. It doesn't care if you're having awesome experiences. Your brain, for the most part, doesn't care if you're enjoying your life. It only cares if you're alive. And it throws thoughts all around your skull, all through your body. Thoughts trigger feelings, feelings that trigger action, and action creates your results. And your thoughts are like, it's your brain's mechanism to try to keep you alive. And most of your thoughts, if you're anything like most people, average human being has 80 to 120,000 thoughts per day, and most of them are unkind, and 99.999% of them are untrue. And it's our brain's mechanism of keeping us alive. And fear is basically just a thought expressed as an emotion that signals a future danger. And if you listen to every fear, if you listen to every thought, if you listen to every worry, if you listen to every doubt, if you listen to all of these conditions, you're going to get nowhere during the course of your life. You're not going to enjoy a second of your life. And people that are in deep psychotic freaking conditions and have mental health issues, they have an abundance of worry, doubt, and fear that's just got them in a chokehold and got them paralyzed. Listen, if you're running a business, worry, doubt, and fear will keep you small. If you're stuck in a corporate job and you want to jump into entrepreneurship, worry, doubt, and fear might keep you in a corporate job when the world's available to you. Everything's available to you. Wealth and success and happiness and time freedom, my most valuable expression of freedom. Everything's available to you. But if you're like the average human being that settles for a life that they hate, then worry, fear, and doubt are the reasons. Worry is praying for what you don't want. Doubt is the voice of shame. And fear is your primitive expression of danger, of potential danger and potential pain that likely will not happen. And you know what? Successful and wealthy people, they thrive despite worry, doubt, and fear, not the absence of it. It's building and learning how to have a healthy relationship with worry, doubt, and fear. How, when worry pops up, knowing how to shift that to dreaming. Like, the difference between worry and dreaming is worry is thinking about what you don't want, and dreaming is thinking about what you do want. Like, wealthy and successful people, when they start to worry, when their worry thoughts creep in, they automatically switch them to what they want instead of what they don't want. When doubt creeps in, reaffirm your value, your significance, your worthiness, your awesomeness, your freaking perfection as a human being. You're perfectly imperfect, just like everybody else. That makes you perfect. And fear is a primitive response. You're not going to rid yourself of your primitive nature. It's the amygdala's job to always signal fight, flight, or freeze to unfamiliar and uncertain circumstances and experiences. So you're not going to rid yourself of fear. But there is no potential pain 99.9999% of the time, but that shit will certainly hold you back. Guys, go on YouTube and start exploring meditative techniques. And if you need any help, mike@mikekitko.com. Just send me an email. I'd love to engage with you and just get you pointed in the right direction. I've got, in March 3rd through the 5th, I've got an intensive coming up, and it's a meditative experience. I've got a 3-day intensive in St. Louis, in the St. Louis metro area. Reach out to me and I'll get you connected with the intensive. If it's beyond March 3rd, 2023, when you're listening to this, go to my website, reach out, connect with my team. We'll get you set up with the next intensive, because those intensives are transformational. You will walk out different person than you walk in. And it's because of meditation and understanding, getting how to get into your subconscious to start to dislodge worry, doubt, and fear, and start to live from inspiration, from inner security, from inner wealth, from inner significance, from inner adequacy, learning to live from these things instead of living a life in response or in reaction to worry, doubt, and fear. But if you're not living the life of your dreams, it all comes back to those three things: worry, doubt, and fear. Not because you can't, but because you won't. I hope you're not settling. And if you are settling, I hope this provides the I don't know, the awareness and the spark that you need to take a step in the direction of your dreams, because there's nothing holding you back but you. Once you learn to believe in yourself, you are the only thing that can hurt you in your life. Health, wealth, love, material abundance, material success, you deserve it all. And the only reason you wouldn't have it all is because you're letting those voices in your head and those feelings in your body hold you back.